Well, hello guys, my name is Nick from Nickstoygarage, and today we're doing a Matchbox restoration on this Moco Lesney Matchbox number 19A MG Midget TD. And now I'm tired just from saying that. This great English sports cars is getting a restoration. This car was produced from 1956 till 1957 and came in two variants, being white and being cream. This one, I believe, was a cream one, but it has been painted over because, well, the wheels weren't originally white, in a white color by some child, and there is a little side-by-side view of a regular Matchbox, and this is actually a 1/69 scale, I think. It is an MG Midget, but this is just a really small scale of Matchbox. You can also see there is no writing, just Leslie on the bottom. There's no title because there's just no place, and there's not even a base plate. There are no rivets, there is nothing. So to take out the axles, I just did one off camera just to figure out how. I'm gonna show you how I did it. You can do it in a million different ways, but this is how I found it the easiest. Just take my vice grips, grip the axle so it cannot move again, because it's not a rounded axle, it's actually being crimped on the end. And then just take my other vice grip and uncrimp, is that a word? No, probably not. But just take out the metal edge so the wheel just comes right off. It doesn't really come right off, but with some imagination it does come right off. You can see me, I need to do it a little bit more. Just like that, and then you can just take off the wheels and in turn the axles. And I really hope I can get this great British sports car back to its former glory. Speaking of Britain, like I said in the previous episode, my London trip fell into the water because, well, there's some kind of global crisis going on, I heard. That was a joke. Me and my girlfriend actually planned a trip to London, a romantic midweek in London, 4 days, but it fell into the water, obviously. So I was wondering, what did you guys have to reschedule or just cancel due to the global crisis at the moment? Please let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm really curious how some lives were affected. Please let me know so I can see that I'm not the only one that has a trip being cancelled. So apparently I skipped my sand blasting cabinet because I was speaking so much. It took me 50 seconds to a minute, but because there's so much depth, so much detail, well, there's not much detail, but so many spaces the paint can hide, it's almost impossible to take every bit of paint off in my sandblasting cabinet. So I take my handy dandy screwdriver and my sanding paper to remove the last metal paint edges. Then for primer, a fine surface primer by Tamiya, like always. Now this isn't the way I like to paint, but there's just no way to hold the model. In a later bit of video I figured out how to hold the model, but this is just me trying to do the underside, letting it dry, turning it over and do the top of the car. Same with the actual underside of the car, painting it in white, doing two coats in total, leaving between 15 to 20 minutes to dry between coats. Then for the actual good paint on the top, that paint you will see, I just took a toothpick, stuck it through the hole where the missing, well, because there's a missing driver, that's why there was a hole, there's a missing spare tire on the back. So that's where I stick my toothpick through, and I just painted the model. Now I wasn't really happy. You can clearly see that the paint is messed up. I have no idea, maybe my airbrush was on the wrong setting or something, maybe there was something stuck, no idea, but the paint on the car is horrible. So I decided to just wet sand the entire car and give it one more coat of that delicious white paint off camera. Now, why did I decide to go with white? Because I don't really like this car in cream, and I like to do the actual restorations for these older Matchbox cars. Definitely from the 50s, they just deserve to be restored and not, well, kind of customized. I could drop it on its nuts with some 20-inch tires, but I just like the MG Midget like it is. Next, it's time for the fine details, starting with the magnificent looking grille. On these smaller scale models, and especially from this era, there are not many details on the car, but the details this thing does have, I have to just make shine. So I did the grille, did the surround of the grille with a toothpick, and then obviously the headlights in the same color. Next, I take my red paint and paint in the lovely red leather seat bag in. Obviously finishing off camera, because this would literally take me 16 hours on camera, because it's really hard not to paint the sides and the actual dashboard. Next, I take my red Sharpie and paint in the actual taillights. Really handy Sharpie, because you don't, with the paintbrush or the toothpick, you just always have excess paint. This is just 2 points and you have perfect taillights. Next, obviously the car needs blinkers. Even in when this car was new, they probably had blinkers. Yeah, history, Nick. You love cars, you don't even know when blinkers were invented. Sure, they had blinkers. So I just took my orange paint and paint on the front blinkers. Not on the rear, they don't deserve it on the rear. Next, it's time to actually paint in the little man. I love this little man. I ordered this on MK Models, and I'm just going to detail it the way I like it. Originally, it was the same color as the car, I think, or just totally brown. I kind of adapted to that. I did the brown for the coat, but knowing me, I'm not going to just paint the entire model in brown. I like details. I know it's not technically a restoration then, it's technically a custom restoration, but I just love my details on these, these little guys. If you look in the top right of the corner, you will see my Commerce ice cream canteen. I also did a not totally, but detailed-ish interior and little guy. I think we called him Mr. Softy. Great name, by the way. Meanwhile, I have painted in the black hair of my little man. Please name him in the comment section down below. Probably Mr. Old McGrumpy Pants or something like that. Not that MG drivers are that, just he looks, if you look really close at him, you can see he's kind of a grumpy face. It's really funny, because it's not supposed to have details on the face, but I think with the casting it got some, well, a frowny face, and with the details I added, it's really funny. Nobody will see it, because I'm not going to see it, so I'm laughing with myself, actually, like usually. I love laughing with myself. I'm a hilarious person. Not really. So next, it's time to do the axles. It is a little bit bent, but first I need to cover the rust, so I took my drill, took a bit of sanding paper, and drilled, well, kind of sanded off the paper, not the paper, the rust with my sanding paper, and off camera I straightened out that axle. As you can see there, the top is a little bit bent. This is the before and after. Now on for the reassembly. We do still have those horrible old wheels. I know they are metal, because the newer 60s and 70s wheels are plastic. These are actually metal, so I could sandblast them, but I will probably just lose them in my sandblaster, so I just decided to order some new wheels. They were so cheap, and I actually just needed to order the 5th wheel, so why not order the 4 original wheels? So on to the reassembly. Like I said, I need to take the longest axle and put it in the back, because the base is a little bit wider in the back than it's in the front. Just take one wheel, stick the axle right through, and then place the other wheel on the other side. And obviously making sure that the axles and the wheels can still spin and don't hit the body. There was a little metal edge on the wheels, which I filed off camera. Just take my vice grips and crimp the axle like it's what's supposed to be, and do the other axle off camera, because you don't need to see this twice, obviously, and crimp the front axle. Just like that. Now time to fit the spare tires. It doesn't click, so I had to glue it, well, did it off camera, I had to glue the bottom side so it would stay in place. And then I just added the little cute driver. Again, name him in the comment section down below. So let's take a look at this car before the restoration, when it was painted over with white, missing driver, missing spare wheel, the wheels were painted, it was absolutely horrible. And let's take a look at it after the restoration right here. I love how this thing turned out. Look at the little man inside the car. I love it. This is by far one of my favorite, at least in my top 3 of favorite restorations I've done so far. If you agree, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you don't, Also, let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite restoration of me was. Obviously, I want to thank some special people, my patrons. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.